Hey dressage superstars, welcome to Dressage Mastery Academy. I'm so excited that you're here. I'm assuming you're here because you are committed and dedicated and excited about progressing in your dressage journey. And I absolutely love that and want to honour that because I think we all get into horses and get into riding because we love horses. And there's obviously something about dressage that calls to us, and we want to create that perfect picture of the horse and rider as one, dancing and these most amazing things, you know, and we're really committed to doing that and going on our own dressage journey. But I don't know if you're like me, it's not working out like that. You're feeling really frustrated. You're feeling like you and your horse are not in sync and it's not working perfectly. You feel like it's a bit of a battle. You feel lost. Like, what should I do when I ride every day? And what should I do in my training? And how do I work on straightness? And how do I get my horse on the bit? And how do I do a good trot canter transition? And you learn and you study and you try and you go okay, and then you go and do it and it doesn't work. Or it works and you go, yes, I've got it, and then a week later it doesn't work and you're taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. And the biggest thing I found in the dressage world is you're all alone while you do it. Dressage is not a team sport where you've got 10 other basketballers on your team ready to help you, ready to pump you up and ready to catch you if you're having a bad day. It's just you and your horse, and your horse doesn't speak English and doesn't know what your goals are and is trying his best to do what you want, but you're not quite sure even the right language you should use to communicate with him. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Tash and I'm a Grand Prix dressage rider from Australia. I was actually the first person in Australasia to bring a Friesian to Grand Prix, which says a little bit about my tenacity, as Friesians are not really designed to do dressage. And maybe you're on a horse that isn't designed to do dressage, but no problem. Because when you know the structure and when you know the training system that you need to follow, you can go to Grand Prix on any horse. So you may or may not have heard of the German training scale. The German training scale is a framework that a lot of top dressage riders use to train their horses. I heard about it and I tried to use it and it didn't work. And then I heard about it again and I tried to use it and it still didn't work that well. But I knew it was important because I knew all the top riders used it. And it wasn't until I discovered and understood and decided to do my own framework of partnering it with the rider success scale that I've personally developed that you can really make the German training scale come to life. The German training scale focuses on the horse. So the horse has to be straight, the horse has to be in rhythm, the horse has to be relaxed, the horse has to be in contact, the horse has to have impulsion, the horse has to have collection, the horse has to do all these things. It's great. I knew it. I knew the German training scale off by heart. I was like, oh, he needs to be in rhythm. He needs to be in a better contact. He needs to be straight. But how do I make him straight? How do I get him in a better contact? How do I put him on the bit? How do I keep him in the same rhythm? How do I relax him? How do I collect him? And then how do I do all these movements that are coming up in a dressage test? Became my question. So you really also need to think of it from a rider success scale point of view. So I've developed a scale that also makes you think of what do you need to do and how do you need to develop as a rider. Because if you don't change as a rider, if you don't grow, if you don't master things in your own riding, if you don't sit still and stable and centered in the saddle, your horse can't be straight. If you can't keep your hands dead still, your horse can't keep his head still, because as you move your hands, he has to move his head because your hands are attached to the bit. If you don't have the right rider mindset and can stay relaxed and stay in the zone and stay focused, how can you expect your horse to? So it was by understanding that this rider success scale, by focusing on the rider, would also help you then get the horse to where it needed to be in the German scale, that everything changed. And I want to give you this framework, this idea of how to train you and your horse at the same time to systematically make your way through the riding levels in a really clear, fun, easy to follow way. And that is why I developed Dressage Mastery Academy. It's the toolbook, the cheat sheet that I wish I had when I went on my journey. So for me to go from basics to Grand Prix, I had to make all the mistakes to figure out what didn't work, to then try and work out what did work. It took a lot of time, took a lot of tears, it took a lot of frustration, and a lot of wasted energy, time, and money. And I want to save you all that. So Dressage Mastery is just the framework of what works. Every month you will learn what you need to master in the German trainer scale, what you need to master in the rider scale, and how you do it. So a lot of programs tell you what, and that's great. I love to know what. But what isn't half as important as how. So in one of the modules I teach shoulder in. It's not just you need to be doing shoulder in, it's how do you do shoulder in? And it's not how do you do shoulder in. You bring the shoulder of the horse onto the inside track so it's on 3 tracks and you use your inside leg to, it's not that. I've broken down the shoulder in into 7 steps. So you go, step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. So it's like a recipe. So I know how you feel. I struggled for so many years in exactly the same spot that you might be at right now. Anyone can make a chocolate cake, but if you don't have a good recipe, how good is your chocolate cake? So we all know what a chocolate cake looks like, and I can't cook at all. So if I tried to go into the kitchen and cook a chocolate cake without a recipe, I'd be like, chocolate, butter, flour. And I just put it all into a bowl, and I'm good enough to at least know it goes into the oven, don't know how hot, and what would come out? Something nasty, something not that good. And that might be like your shoulder in. It's probably not a great shoulder in because you haven't got the recipe yet. You haven't got the 7 steps of step 1, do this. And it's step 1 moves the shoulders over, but how do you move the shoulders over? With your outside drain. How do I use my outside drain? And I go really deep and really in depth into how to do it because I know that's what I wanted when I was learning. A lot of people could tell me to do a shoulder in. A lot of people could tell me how. Oh, move the shoulder and make sure the hind legs don't swing out. Yeah, and how would I do that? You know, or by using leg. How would I use my leg? Or use your seat. How would I use my seat? How would I use my hands? How would I use my hips? How would I use my shoulders? Those nitty-gritty intricacies is what I just really try and give you into Dressage Mastery. So every month in Dressage Mastery, you will receive a video of me riding my horse with a GoPro on and teaching you and telling you what I'm doing and what we need to master for the month. You also get a full manual, and in this manual is your troubleshooting guide, your checklist, your steps of how to do something and what to do something and when you should do it. We also have classroom theory lessons. So before I even get on a horse and before you get on a horse, I explain in detail in intricate steps what we're going to master this month and how we're going to do it. Then I also know watching an expert do something is great, but sometimes there's still more learning that needs to be had. So I then bring out a student and teach that student, because often the student has questions that you might have as well, or obviously doesn't do it perfectly, which might be how you do it. And you can see how I work with that rider when they don't do it perfectly on how to improve it and how to develop it. I also give you monthly training plans, so you know exactly what you should be doing when you ride every week in order that you progress and take steps towards where you want to go in your dressage journey. You can also feel comforted to know I have been trained to teach all different learning styles. You may or may not know, we all have, well, there are 4 different learning styles that people prefer to work in and prefer to learn in. I'm extremely visual AD, which means I like to see it being done and I like it explained in detail. I like the steps and the logical progression. You might be kinesthetic, which means you prefer to feel it. You prefer to know what the feeling feels like and how the body should work when it happens. Or you might be auditory, which means you're really motivated by sounds and the rhythm and how it should all work musically to you. Whichever way you learn, I've made sure that I have covered all the learning styles in every month of Dressage Mastery. So you will get the learning that you need for you. You might have gone to a coach and gone, oh, okay, someone's raving about this coach. You go to them and you go, I didn't understand the word they said. I didn't understand them. And that's because they would have been talking in their preferred style rather than yours. So I make sure that I cover all the learning styles, so no matter how you learn, you will learn in Dressage Mastery. But you don't need to take my word for it. Here's a couple of our amazing superstar clients that we have all over the world telling you what they think about Dressage Mastery.
Hi Natasha, I went back to my trainer 5 weeks ago after a winter break. It was so fun because despite the winter break, we have improved so much with your help. It is very valuable to see you train when it doesn't go perfectly as well as seeing your students doing similar faults to myself. I'm so happy as I feel I'm on my way to achieve a goal of mine, to learn to ride properly.
I watched the video on contact in Dressage Mastery last night and it made a huge difference in my riding today. I didn't really get contact until now, and I realise now that I was trying to use my hands way too much and almost trying to pull my horse's head into the contact. Just wanted to let you know about my success. Erica.
I've just completed 6 months of Dressage Mastery. Today I tested it out by attending my first competition since starting the program. Huge difference in my riding, my warm-up, my mindset, everything. It was a British Dressage affiliated preliminary and we went really well and were rewarded with first place. Enormous thank you to the Dressage Mastery team for helping me achieve this.
Since there was no dressage trainer nearby, I would like to thank you for having come up with a genuine program and to be a very educational instructor. I particularly like how you explain everything thoroughly, and not least that you explain why it's done so. I really appreciate being able to work towards specific goals and achievements, and greatly appreciate the tests along the way, such as you should master this before proceeding to the next month's lesson.
Second show for the week, second show ever for this sweet horse. Having a great time. I never thought a year ago I would be here. Loving life, teaching this new horse from the ground up and loving the journey. Thanks again to Dressage Mastery. I couldn't have gotten this far without it.
Aren't they champions? I'm so proud of them. All right, so I know you're probably going, okay, I know Dressage Mastery is for me, but what's the investment? And I want you to consider how much a lesson costs, how much horses cost in general when you're talking about horse feed, a bag of horse feed, and a competition entry, and fuel and the float to get you to that horse competition, and everything else involved with horses. I wanted to make sure Dressage Mastery was affordable as possible for you. I wanted to make sure that it was the same price or less as a lesson. Now I know a lesson with a Grand Prix rider in Australia, it's around about $150. Sometimes a bit less, sometimes a bit more. I'm not sure what it is in other countries. But Dressage Mastery isn't anywhere near that. Dressage Mastery every month is only $79, and for that you get access to all the training plans, all the videos, plus your insider membership. We also have a couple of bonuses for you. So insider membership gives you an extra video every week. These videos can't be found anywhere. They're not on YouTube, they are purely for my insider members. In there you'll see me training in real time, you'll see me coaching clients, you'll see barn secrets, you'll see undercover competitions, everything that I'm doing in the horsey world. Everyone loves the barn secrets as well. How do you care for your horses at a top level, and how do you make sure that you're feeding them, rugging them and looking after them the best for your progress? We also have a super community on Facebook, which is a private group where you can come on, share your thoughts, share your learning, share your disappointments, share your wins, and we're all there supporting you and helping you along your dressage journey. So when you join us today, what are you going to learn? The very first month of Dressage Mastery is all about rhythm and mastering your seat. So you may have heard coaches, or you may have understood that your horse needs to go more forward. And I struggled with more forward for ages, because what does more forward mean? I would just make the horse go faster. So you'll finally learn and understand how to make your horse go more forward without making it just run faster. We'll also deep dive into your seat and make sure that you're working on your independent seat and not doing the two very kind of common mistakes that riders make in their riding, which is really affecting how their horse goes and how they're sitting in the saddle. I'll also give you an exercise that is going to fast track how you sit on a horse and give you a completely different look and seat when you're riding your horse in the next 30 days. And remember, if you get lost, if you need help, there are full checklists in the program. There's a full troubleshooting guide. So if there's something that doesn't go right in your riding, you just go back to your manual, you open up your troubleshooting guide and you go, oh, that's right, I forgot to use outside rein, or that's right, I used my leg in the wrong way, I have to use it in that, or I forgot step 5. Whatever it is, that manual's going to be there, so you can definitely make progress in every single ride. And best of all, I want to give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. So you can try it today, and if it's not for you, if you don't get the learnings that I know you're going to get, if you're not happy with the product for any reason, just email us and we'll refund your entire investment. So you really have nothing to lose, and you only have to gain your dressage journey finally making sense and finally getting the progress that you want to make.